Now, how can we become a community, a common unity? Like when you love yourself and you accept who you are, and you know that yes, we are different. We don't eat the same, we don't cook the same, we don't think the same, we don't educate or raise our kids the same, we don't dress the same, but we still love each other. And you are not less than me for not doing the things the way I do it. And I am not more than you for doing things different than you're doing.
I call out integrity in everyday situations very, very often. And now I can see in my own kids trying to call out integrity in everybody around them in the same way, because it's so important to me. I've made it so important to my kids. But in reality, I don't know how important it is overall. Welcome back, friends. If you don't know, my name is Kia.
And my name is Tenshy.
And together we are Inspired Alignment. And this is a podcast where we talk about all sorts of things: spirituality, community, shared living, parenting.
Yeah. Breaking the paradigms.
Bringing
heaven to earth. And daring to be yourself.
Absolutely. We have been having a lot of conversations around integration and around our journey so far in this new year. Tenshy's is very focused on looking inwards at her own self and showering her own self with self-love. And mine seems to be somehow a more external journey and looking at others with more love and the same grace that I often tell so many people, like, afford yourself more grace in this world that we live in. You're not supposed to be perfect. Just have grace for the choices that you make and don't make them wrong or right in your mind. They just are. And for me, figuring out how to look at other people the same way, because sometimes I just shake my head at choices that I see other people making, because somehow I think I would do it different and maybe the way that I would do it would be right. So we've been talking a lot about those kinds of things, and I guess trying to figure out, like, what we do. We live in a version of community right now together. We have 2 families in this household, which is not normal. We somehow are our own personal, very small community. We also have so many families that we share time with outside of this 4 walls that we like to refer to as a community, and like have supported us through so many things, have come together and just done what we've asked and gone above and beyond, and we've done the same back. And it's beautiful to have this group of humans that can truly rely on each other. But it's been tricky to try to figure out boundaries in community, how to hold that mindset that I was just talking about, how to not look at the other people in your community and be like, oh my God, like the way you do things is so questionable to me, like, and I don't understand them, and because I don't understand them, I think they're wrong.
Yeah.
And how can you come together and be a group of people trying to move forward in community and in alignment when you're consistently looking at each other as wrong?
Yeah. Well, I think as I hear you talking, and I'm trying to connect with the previous episode where we left people, like, what are you going to talk about? The vision that I was getting, and I think it's going to become part of the second part of that episode. And it has to do with love, but not love in the most common way of seeing it. It's like, yeah, I love you, and everybody loves each other. Like, we are not right now in an era where
love
saying I love you is normal, without really knowing what the meaning of love is, starting with the personal love. Because, like, how am I going to be able to love you if I am not loving myself? I've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
However, for more weird than it sounds, I have the tendency of loving others more than I love myself. Why is that? I have no idea. I would like to know one day. I don't think it has to do much with the way I was raised, but it could be part of it. That will be another episode on its own. But love, like, right now, I think that even the concept of love is expanding nowadays
Mm-hmm.
as we raise our consciousness. The concept of love is actually amplified. Is it's bigger now. People are talking about unconditional love, and if we go to the root of unconditional love and what that really means, it's like love without conditions. It's like you don't have to be this, you don't have to be that, you don't have to do things this way or doing it that way. You don't have to act like, you just have to be you.
Mm-hmm.
And I love you for who you are. I just love your heart. And for our community, and I, at least that is the thing that I have heard the most among our people,
Yeah.
is that connection heart to heart. It's like at the beginning we were just like like a magnet kind of thing, like magnetized, like absorbed, like attracted to each other. And as I say that, I see the image that I was getting is like, oh my goodness, even though I need to land from my crown chakra, from my upper chakras down through my heart, and you will have to go up towards the higher chakras from the ground chakras through the heart. Everybody, doesn't matter how the energy flows in us,
Yeah.
everything happens at the heart level. And that is the hardest level of all. That one is where the two sphinx are standing at on guard. Whether you're going down or whether you're going up, we are on guard. Because, okay, you want to go up and you want to go higher, you want to be part of my life, but who are you? Are you good enough for me? Are you doing the things that I like you to do? Are you thinking like me? Like me? Are we similar in the ways we do? Because I don't know if that happens to you, but I can see so many people getting together because they are the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, yes, we do the same thing, we cook the same thing, we eat the same thing, we have the same lifestyle, and we are friends.
Yeah.
And you, are you able and capable of being friends with someone that is completely different than you? That is a challenge.
Absolutely.
And I think that is where we're going to as a community. Is like even the word community is like common unity, but you need to become one within yourself, connecting and integrating your higher aspect and your lower aspect, I will call them. It's actually not it
Not less
shouldn't.
than, but lower.
Exactly, yeah, it's like lower because the physical body is the most dense,
Mm-hmm.
and the other is so untangible. It's not, it's just so ethereal that you cannot grab it with your hand. That's why it's called higher, and
Yeah.
it has to do with the frequencies,
Yeah.
the energy. So when you are integrating those and you're becoming one with your spiritual being, and you are becoming an angel on earth, and you're a walking an angel on a physical body, capable of loving everybody, but that angel cannot love everybody if it doesn't love herself. From that unity, now how can we become a community, a common unity? Like when you love yourself and you accept who you are, and you know that yes, we are different. We don't eat the same, we don't cook the same, we don't think the same, we don't educate or raise our kids the same, we don't dress the same, but we still love each other. I respect who you are, and you respect who I am, and you are not less than me for not doing the things the way I do it. And I am not more than you for doing things different than you're doing. And I think that's where the whole integration goes. This process, and I can see it probably the next 2 years or so, is going to be an opportunity for every human on this planet to integrate who we are, who we really, really, really are, as angels walking on earth,
Yeah.
or as human beings ascended to angels, kind of thing. Because I think at the end, we are going to start co-creating a world for us, for all of us together, in unity, from that unity consciousness.
Yeah. And how to somehow teach that or truly model it. Like as you were talking, I was thinking about our kids, and you were saying like, let's be a community and we don't have to do things the same, which I believe to a level, whichever level we have integrated to. You know that, I know that, Yvonne knows that. Like as the adults in the group, we get that. But the 5 kids that we live with have a different idea somehow that I'm sure we've given them, that community means like, oh, we do things together. We do more things together than we did before. And somehow being able to model to them like, yes, we do things together, but not exactly the same. And that's okay. Like for a very silly example, a couple of weeks ago, my family went swimming on one day of the week and yours went the day after. And I think on some level, the kids were like, why would we not just go swimming together? And it's like, well, just literally because that's the way it went this week. You guys had other plans the one day and, you know, for whatever reasons we went swimming on different days. And somehow beyond those silly mundane things, like we eat dinner at different times or we swim on different days, but I think about like integrity is a insanely important core value to me. And since living here, I have come very much face to face with how much that matters to me, and almost face to face with the fact that I've put integrity on some kind of a pedestal. And I have also taught my kids the same. Not intentionally, like on some level intentionally, when it comes to trying to be honest and those kinds of things. But I call out integrity in everyday situations very, very often. And now I can see in my own kids trying to call out integrity in everybody around them in the same way, because it's so important to me. I've made it so important to my kids. But in reality, I don't know how important it is overall. Not saying that integrity is not important, but I think, like I said, I've put it on a pedestal and I've made it almost like the most important thing. And I can see that in my kids too. They put integrity somehow above many other things. Whereas for you and for your family, feeling safe, trying to think of how to put it into words, like being able to express openly what is happening for you as a person is very important to you because of all your stuff. You hold that in very high regard. Like you don't want anybody to withhold their feelings and kind of push them down and allow them to stagnate inside themselves. And so you have always created a beautiful space for your kids to express however they need to. And sometimes my need for integrity may go head to head with their need to express somehow. And I can see my kids somehow calling for integrity when your kids are calling for space to express themselves. And each one of them somehow thinking that their priority is the more important one. This is kind of a tangent that I'm taking us on, but I think what I'm getting at is we do those things differently, and I don't think either one is wrong. But they don't necessarily cohabitate super well together. So how do we somehow teach our kids that just because we have taught them that X, Y, or Z is the ultimate, most important thing in their lives, it doesn't mean that somebody who has a different top priority can't coexist with them. And how to hold space for each other's need for integrity or expressing their emotions or whatever other example there is. They don't have to be competing. They don't have to be, it's either integrity or you express your emotions right now, which may seem like a very obscure example to you guys because you do not live in our house. It's the best one that I could come up with. But yeah, like it's very difficult to raise. Like it's easy to sit here and talk about community and how like, oh, it's okay, we don't have to be the same. But the reality of it is like, it can be so tricky to sit in the real life situations that come and try to figure out how do we navigate being there for each other, upholding a community feeling, the love that we want to be overarching all of the things when we do things differently.
But I think that is where we're heading to. So far for us, we have been having different communities, different societal groups, different groups of the same. We all go to this church, we go to this school, we all go or live on this neighbor, we all
I
are
call them,
vegans, or we are carnivores, or we are keto. Like, we like to get and feel.
yeah, I call them bubbles. Like we
Yeah,
have grown up in our various bubbles.
exactly. And what's happening right now is that all the bubbles are gonna open, and actually started opening now, because like Russell and Stephanie, like one is vegan and the other one is carnivore, and they were married and they could figure it out. Like, no, you don't have to be vegan. Like, if you're not vegan, we cannot coexist. And that is the word, coexist, because it's coexist and co-create. And right now we are co-living.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, more than focusing on what our differences are, I've always said, like, what is the same in us, because that is the strength. And from now, from that, after that, is the acceptance. I think should be the main value, if I may call it.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, if I accept myself and I realize that I am unique and there is no other me, how am I going to expect other human to act, think, and do things in integrity, with my integrity, my own concept of integrity as me, if I am unique? Like, that's playing God. Like, you have to be the way I want you to be,
Yeah.
because otherwise we cannot be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all the bubbles are going to start bursting somehow. It's like popping.
Yeah.
And our kids, or at least that's how I like to see it, our kids come with a different code in their minds and in their souls. They already know that they are, how do you call that? They are fully in their own uniqueness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
They are, they own their uniqueness. It's us, the ones have to somehow be led by them. When we see them playing, and yes, like Fifa and Nico, they are completely different, yet they make it work. Like, we don't have to be the same. You are you, and I see, namaste, I see the light in you. What does that mean? It's like, you are perfect the way you are, and I see the light in me. I am perfect the way I am. The main paradigm that is going to break is that we have to be the same.
Yeah.
And the unity consciousness is that once we reach to that level, when I am so comfortable in my own skin, I don't have to defend myself anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to justify who I am anymore. I don't have to feel guilty for being who I am.
Mm-hmm.
When we reach to that point, the world will completely change. What we have to do with our kids is just remember that they are unique, even our values, because we raise them, we live with them, we model, we talk about that, we educate them,
Yeah.
and we pour our mind most of the time into their beings.
Mm-hmm.
um, but if we let them lead us, I think the contrary will go. Like, it will be a different kind of process, I think, and I hope.
Yeah. It's just the reality of all that. You being the lady who lives in this happy possibilities land.
Not all the time,
Right.
but yeah.
And I love it. Like I not even I love it, I do, but it's also necessary. Like possibilities land is what, in my perspective, keeps humanity here. Like if we don't have possibilities land, and like the true fact that there are endless possibilities available to us, and our life path has endless possibilities, if we don't have that, then what is the point?
Mm-hmm.
But not but, because that's not a good word.
And
Endless possibilities land. And how do we, in the real life moments that show up, even if you don't live with another family, as you were talking about, as a parent, however many kids you have, what is important to you, we pass to our kids. We just do, because we, they do something that to us is like, well, that is really not acceptable for this reason or that reason, because you're interfering with my peaceful space with your noise level, or you just went to your brother or your sister and you took something from them, and that is not going to work out in the world that we currently live in. You can't take, and you can't grow your own personal bubble, which is totally different from the bubbles we were talking about before, but your own personal space, for lack of a better word, has to somehow fit around everybody else's personal space. So the reality of doing that beautiful you be you and I'll be me, and we can just all float through life to the beautiful endless land of possibilities, is the goal. And in the everyday moments, for me at least, sometimes is like, ugh, but how? Like,
hmm.
how? Like, for myself, I am one human. I have 3 children humans. And sometimes the 3 things that the 3 of them want are conflicting. So I like sit and ask myself, like, I don't even know what we're going to do physically in our day to day, because my one kid wants to stay home and my other kid wants to go outside, and my other kid wants to, I don't know, do an art or craft or something, and I'm like, how do I do both? So it's somehow modeling an acceptance of the fact that, yeah, we're not all the same, and somehow releasing the control that, your day has to go your one way in order to be a positive day for you. Like in that example, my one kid who wants to stay home, if they don't get to stay home the whole day, for them to decide that that means their day is ruined, that's pretty extreme. And my other kid who wants to go out, to decide, like, if we didn't go out for the whole day, then their day is ruined. That cannot be. But to learn to somehow release the control and find compromises and be able to find joy where we are at, regardless of if it was the exact path we were going to choose for ourselves, is somehow what we need to model.
All I can think about when I hear you saying that is knowing who you are and letting others know who you are, what's important for you, what your boundaries are, from love, with love, on a regular basis. For us parents, to open space to discover who they are and what's important for them and what their boundaries are, and help them navigate the many opportunities in which others will come not knowing what their boundaries are or what's important to them, and say it's okay to express what you want. It is okay to express what you need. It is okay to express what your preferences are. I think it is somehow easy for me to see it right now because I am going through that process. Like, from being in my cave when I didn't have to say much about what I needed or what I didn't need, what I wanted, what I didn't want. Like, actually, I was living for others, to please others, to make others happy. Now it's like, okay, if I want to do this, I have to love myself. To love myself is accepting who I am, but letting others know that I need to sleep 9 hours and I need to all my needs that are important for me. Yes, they may not be important for you, and you may say, like, oh, come on, I'm 6 hours is okay for you honor your 6 hours, I am going to honor my 9 hours. For you, honor, like, I'm out and about, like, like you're all go, 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 go. Honor your go, go, go. I am going to honor my sloth being in the morning. We are all different and we can coexist because, I need my mornings quiet. You're not going to be saying, Tenshy, let's go for a hike in the morning. Like, you don't expect that from me because, I'm a freaking sloth in the morning. Or I'm not going to say, Kia, it's 9 o'clock. Let's go to bed. Go to bed because you need to sleep 9 hours. Like, no, you do you and I do me. And for our kids, is that. It's like, honor what are your limits, what do you need in your space to feel like you are safe, to feel that you are having all that you need.
Mm-hmm.
For example, just talking about the days, and I was trying to organize my week yesterday with my boys because now we are not working. My kids don't need to adapt to your schedule. Your kids don't need to adapt to my schedule. My way of being is like, okay, well, I have the opportunity now to do it my way and the way that I've always worked. And I know that Sebastian is normally not a morning person. My kids need a day in and a day out because if we have 3 days in, it's going to be crazy. But what I did, it was like a list of the things that they like doing, all of them. A list of the things that I like doing. And because I'm in the process of loving myself, I put in my calendar the things that I want to do and where I think when I think I can do them. So I fulfill my cup first. And then during the week, I honor their needs and wants. You want a day for Legos? Okay, we can be this day. You want a moment for swimming? We can go that day. Sebastian wants a day for guitar? Another time. And even if it's not during the day where you fulfill everybody's needs, their needs are going to be fulfilled during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Or create a cycle every 3 days or every 4 days. Like, it depends on the cycle. We use the week because that is the normal way of organizing our time. But it can be any way that works for you. You create your own rhythms and your own cycles. And that is something else, honoring each other's rhythms. We are all different, but we are in a society where everything starts at 7 or at 9, and then everything finishes at 5 or 6. Like, can I allow myself to have a different rhythm
Mm-hmm.
and do things differently?
Yeah, and I think that's what I meant by like finding ways to teach our kids to somehow let go of that control and for them to, the society they're born into is a daily rhythm, 24 hours. You got 24 hours. Make sure you do what you need to do in 24 hours. And to let them have a space to somehow let go of the control. Like maybe we didn't get to go out today, whichever child wanted to go out because it just didn't work for X, Y, or Z because there's other people with other needs, but we will tomorrow. And to become used to that not being a dishonoring of themselves, and instead making it somehow a way for them to know, like, unless I want to go through life as literally like a solitary pilgrim, pilgrim might not be the right word, but like a solo human being, I am going to have to continuously find ways to walk my path alongside whomever. Like right now, yes, it's us as their parents and their brothers and their sisters and their siblings. In the future, it's friends. It's whatever friends are taking up the most space in their lives. And then whatever significant relationships they have going forward. We always have to figure out how to honor ourselves in conjunction with honoring the people that we have in our space whom we love. And that is a very beautiful way to look at it. Like, let's take a step back and look big picture and take ourselves out of this very small right here, right now moment where like I'm choosing to not be satisfied because I'm not outside and I want to be. Well, can we just look at it, like zoom out one section and realize that we might not be outside right now, but the time for that will come. And let's find ways to find joy where we are as often as possible, even if it's not exactly our number one preference every moment of every day, because that's kind of highly unrealistic. And figuring out how to find the joy can make it your number one preference every single day, because your preference is, I want to feel good. I want to find things to be grateful for. I want to find things that make me happy and bring me satisfaction in the most moments that I can.
Yeah. And for us moms, always in the mindset of providing for our kids and making sure that they have all that they need. Sometimes we forgot about our own needs.
Yeah.
So mix into that rhythm our monthly cycles. It's like you can have the perfect plan, but honey, I am cramping right now and I'm sorry. Whatever was planned for today, it's not going to be able to because my body is going through whatever pain or discomfort, or I just want to cuddle in my bed or whatever. And I'm going to honor my body.
Mm-hmm.
And from that heart, from that unconditional love, I will not love you less because you're not taking me outside. I love you. And actually, I celebrate the fact that you're honoring yourself
Yeah.
and teaching them and modeling for them that they can also ask for what they need in any time or moment that they need to, because their need at that time is going to be honored as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's from love, I don't think it should be something to be regretful of. If it's from true love, it shouldn't be. We shouldn't feel guilty or regretful
For asking.
or frustrated. Not only for asking, but for giving too.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, we can live in that place of love,
Yeah.
of unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you can have whatever rhythm you want, you can have whatever schedule you want, but life happens. And right here, right now, I'm going to honor my right here, right now, because it's not on the plan. However, I know that that it can happen. A little bit of flexibility in our planning because life happens, and it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Well.
And then you just expand that to the community. But that's the journey, right? Like it begins with us and figuring out our own selves. And then obviously for us, it went to our families and now it has gone to this shared family. And then it just continues to radiate outward until in a magical number of decades from now, humanity exists able to give lovingly, ask lovingly,
And coexist.
and just
coexist.
let it breathe.
Yeah. I want to leave you with the vision of the word community as a common unity. And as I see common unity is many, many selves, many individuals being able to share a common space, which is Gaia, this planet. It doesn't matter which country, city, state, house, like it doesn't matter. As that unity consciousness, that integration of our higher being and our lower physical body in one, how can we manifest heaven on earth, knowing that we are not so different? We are unique, but we are not so different from each other. We all need our being to be honored and accepted and unconditionally loved. And that's it. That's it. So simple, eh?
Yeah, until next time.
Yeah. So with this episode and this final reflection, we'll leave you until the next episode. Thank you for watching. If you can leave us your comment, what community means to you, what integration means to you, and what other ways you find in your regular daily life and routines to honor yourself and the ones that share the world with you. That will be awesome. See you next time.